What's up, world? Coming at you. It's about 9:10 at night. Um, Chilling on the couch. Just put the kids to bed not too long ago. The wife sleep. The baby girl, 3 month old. Oh yeah, today's a 3 month old anniversary. That's what's up, man. Man, God just been good. I just had to come and vent and talk about, all he's brought me through, from my finances to my family to my marriage to just everything, man. I remember it was just last year, um, February 2018. Um, we were in church. It started off like this. We were in church one Sunday in February. It was cold. The kids were kind of, my son and my daughter were feeling sick at the time. My 3 month old, of course, wasn't born yet. So they were sick. My daughter threw up in church. Um, it was around the time they had the gastro. There was some gastroviral bacterial infection going around, and it was causing people to like throw up. I mean, if you was in contact with anybody within, shoot a couple feet for any length of time, you was guaranteed to get it. So my daughter throws up in church. We take her to the ER. Took her to Sacred Heart, one of the most trusted hospitals in the area. Took her out there. Um, by the time we get there, I guess the long 25, 30-minute drive to the hospital, by sitting in the car with her, we were already contracting it and didn't even really know. So we get to the hospital and we feeling okay. My daughter's, vomiting, diarrhea, all that. We get a room and everything. By about 10, 15 minutes in, my wife starts having the same symptoms. She's throwing up, vomiting, diarrhea. I'm like, Lord have mercy, this thing is a real deal. Never seen nothing like it, contagious wise. A lot of things take time, but this gastrointestinal virus was nothing but the truth. Next thing you know, shoot, maybe an hour after that, my son starts having the same symptoms. Head's hurting. Next thing you know, he's throwing up, pooping. I'm the only one. Last of the Mohicans. I'm sitting there like, Lord, don't let me be next. Fast forward, we finally get released and find out my daughter has the gastrointestinal virus. My son has more than we thought he had. He had the gastrointestinal virus, a collapsed lung, stuff that should have been caught at, numerous other hospital visits. Kind of broke our hearts. And then I later did get it the next day. I got it too. So I was home nursing everybody, and I ended up catching it as well. I say all of that because on top of that, I was going through a situation with my home where we had to be displaced from our home that we owned, you know, for a time because of a mold situation that affected our entire home, sprung a leak, ice maker valve sprung a leak, wet up the wood in the house, soaked the wood to the point it was saturated and became mold, and we didn't even know it until we could smell it. That displaced us from our home for 4 months, and we were living out of hotels and getting taken from one hotel to the next, back and forth. Mind you, a family of four living inside of a one-bedroom hotel pretty much for 4 months was not ideal, and financially it was taking its toll on us. It was crazy. It was hectic, man. My marriage wasn't the greatest at the time too, and we were going through, constantly having to come out of pocket. $50 a day adds up. $50, $60 a day adds up. When you live inside of, you know, 500, 600 square foot area, for people. It wasn't ideal at all. But I thank God, in spite of all that, we made it out that situation, you know, was able to sell our home. We were able to move into a brand new home um, that I'm sitting in, grace be to God, I'm sitting in right now, you know, on live right now, just talking about the blessings that God has allowed me to see, you know. I thank my family, I thank my mother and father, I thank God, for just keeping my head up, because it was a lot to deal with, trying to come to work every day and be positive in spite of, living, going back to a hotel, not always having a stove, just the little things you take for granted. The little things I was just like, man, not having a stove, having to order food out, you know, like on a constant basis, on a 5 6 days a week. Like, I like to cook. I like to have a home cooked meal. That's what I grew up on. So to not be able to do that, it took its toll on us financially and emotionally. Not being able, getting used to the normal activity in life, the normal routine that kind of was taken away. But we kept the fight, man. Stayed in church every Sunday. Still came to Sunday school. Still taught. Still tried to get a word. Because I know like the word tells us, we don't keep. God will never leave you nor forsake you. And the old saying is, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So this situation, that we went through 2018 was rough. A rough patch. It made us stronger. You know, over the years, there was a lot of friendships lost. A lot of people walked out. A lot of people left. Um, left us. But what I'm saying, I thank God for those who stuck around. I thank you, God, for learning from the situations. The ups and downs. You know, the problems, all of it. Is a learning lesson, and I think that's the important thing when you live in this life. It's important to not just live it and go through every day like it's nothing, but you gotta you know learn from every situation, the good and the bad, because you can it'll always come in handy later, whether it be the situation arising again or somebody in the same boat. So I thank God, man. He's blessed me and my wife, blessed me with three beautiful children, and I mean all of them are miracle babies. My youngest in particular, I'll never forget this day, December 15th, 2018. My wife woke up. She was about 7 months, 8 months pregnant at the time. Baby was doing 2 weeks. She woke up crying one morning because she didn't feel my daughter moving. And she was like, baby, something ain't right. And I was like, I had to calm her down. I told her to go to the ER. And I thank, man, God for his grace and mercy. When she went to the ER, I told her to go because the kids were still asleep. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning. I said, go to the ER, babe. I mean, I could wake all the kids up and all go together, but if you want, we need to hurry up and go. So just go by yourself right now. I'll stay here with the kids. Keep me updated on how everything's going. So she calls me about 30 minutes. It was early, so I think she got seen real quick. She called me about 20, 30 minutes later. She was like, baby, oh my gosh, everything's okay. Everything's fine. I was like, so what happened? What was was you just having a, weird feeling? She was like, no, the cord was wrapped around her neck. If I would have waited, and we would have lost her. So every day I look at that little girl, I thank God for her because I know it wasn't nothing but Him, you know. And I thank my wife for just being attentive to, listening and knowing her body and just that was the Spirit of God right there in itself, though. I think about that. I tear up in church sometimes, and I just think about all the stuff, and I could go on for days and minutes on end. My daughter was another situation that she had to fight and was in the NICU when she was born for a week and a half because my wife's water had broke a day before my daughter was born. So anybody that knows water breaking and pregnancy and the whole process knows your water breaks. You need to that baby's ready to come. My wife's the water broke, and the next day, about 24 hours later, we had my daughter. So it was a lot of trauma inside that went on. My son is another. They said he wasn't even there. You know, my wife wasn't even pregnant, and she was. So I mean, I thank God for the miracles. It's been miracle after miracle, and I thank God for my three children. And I thank God for my wife. You know, because it was a lot of trauma and stress on her body, but she stayed strong, and we stuck together throughout the whole thing. So for anybody out there, you know, watching this, man, if you're going through, you know, a hard time, man, just keep your head up and try to get, try to get around good messages, good words, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be just good people that just got, positive messages and positive outlooks for whatever you're going through. That's what I did, and I think that's what helped me through, staying in my word and staying around positive people. So, you know, just be positive, amen. God is good, and don't never lose sight of that. Worthy to be praised. Big ups to the Lord. Big ups to my friends and family. Y'all take care of yourself and each other.